Hello guys, my name is Mark and I'm here to show a little bit of a glance on the way I'm trying to start programming for Ton. I'm still quite new, you will notice that during this video, but I'm a senior developer in a few directions like classic ones, not Web3 or blockchain. I used to program on Node.js, PHP, simple like front-end JavaScript like React, Angular, also React Native. So I have quite of an experience in programming, but I even had some experience in Solidity programming. Never got to any significant like to the junior level even, but trying to get my head around the Ton programming, it was quite a challenge from the first steps, and I was missing some tutorials of the guys who would also be making first set of steps, and those who try to make something meaningful in the same way. You know, if you're a developer, you know that in order to make something meaningful, you have to write quite a few hello worlds and pizza apps, you know. So this first video is for you to understand how was my first touch with the Telegram, like actually not Telegram, but Ton programming community. My first pieces of information, how I consume them, and what I have so far. And the goal of this video, the primary goal, is for you to get pieces of information that I was able to find in one organized place, in one video, to see my flow. I will do my best to explain how I was getting my first tutorials, how I was getting first kind of like understanding of how Ton works. And yeah, let's just get to it. And first of all, I want to say like my first touch was, it was an article of Timecodes. A great guy. I googled about him quite a lot. He was the founder of quite a few projects and leading some amazing cool blockchain projects. He wrote an article, and I was going through this article like 5, 6, 7 times. But if you have no idea about, I don't have any experience with C programming, and I don't understand so many things in this article, and I was kind of feeling like I'm studying a rocket science, but still in the same time I started to understand that there is some things like internal messages, external messages. I started to understand how the code looks. So apart from having a lot of things not understandable, that was my first touch. I had to continue further. I leave the link to this article in the description, so have a look. It might be that you will get much more out of this article, but for me it was just a few concepts that I understood. And still, after this article, I was not able to get my hands on coding. I didn't start like my first smart contract, even though I was able to set up my machine for Ton programming based on the links and steps provided here. And I will get back to this article quite a few times in the series of videos, so I just wanted to outline it. And the second resource that I headed to was official Ton FunC overview page. And here you can find tutorials blog. And I went through a few links, and the one I found the most useful was this one. It is a set of lessons, tutorials. It's provided in 2 languages, in Russian and English. So for Russian folks who want to get into Ton programming, you might want to head into the Russian version. So basically, what I'm going to do in this video is going to be breaking down, not actually breaking down, it will be like me following through this tutorial and doing the things so you could see how it works before you actually start configuring your machine. Because sometimes I have this kind of fear that if I don't see exactly where it heads to, I cannot start working with the tutorial. You know, maybe you have the same problem. So that's why I hope you will find this useful. So basically, this page is quite a good one. I'm not very technical type of person, so it's hard for me to. I mean, I am very technical type of person, but when I see the code of FunC, I feel like I'm a humanitarian type, you know. But anyways, to read through the Tone white paper, it's quite a hassle for me, to be honest, and I have to Google so many things to understand them. So sometimes people say, like, just read the white paper and you will get everything. Like, I didn't get everything while going through the white paper. And what I wanted to know is, like, how can I write a smart contract? I had a very specific idea in my head. I wanted to write a smart contract that would deduct a commission and then send the money to the address. So that's why, like, I'm a very practical person who was like, how can I get this shit done? And I'm still not there, but I'm trying to outline my first steps. And once I will have some questions through this process, I'm going to write them down here on the side in hopes to get some kind of elaboration, some kind of explanation from the folks who are into Tone programming a lot. And I'll try to get maybe Tal call, even to get him on the call and go through these questions and, like, how did I fit into, like, very practical process of programming Tone smart contracts. So let's see where it heads to. But I will leave these links down there in the description. Please, I don't know, like, it's my first YouTube video, so if you like it, if you think it's something that is needed on YouTube and you can even recommend it to someone, please like the message, like this video, and just like by this I can understand if I should go to the second part and get it more and more regular, you know. So one thing that I really found useful in Timecodes article was that how to set up the machine. So let me get back to this article, and there's a block setting up your local machine. So basically, you would need to install Node.js. I'm not gonna actually Node. I'm not going to jump into the Node installation, but I suppose you would be able to figure it yourself here on the official Node.js website. And I would just go through how I'm configuring the rest of the stack. And important link I found here, and I'm also leaving it in the description below, is Tone binaries. What is Tone binaries? These are like three main libraries, binaries, I don't know what's the right way to call them, to program with Tone. So why do we have all three? I can explain you why we have these two, and but first I will tell you, like, light client is like just a light version of communicating with the blockchain, from my brief understanding. So far more important is to explain what are FIFT and FunC. So to put it very short, Tone works on two languages. So basically, you are programming the smart contract with a FunC language. This is kind of a simplified, maybe simplified, I don't know the original C, but from what I've heard and understood, FunC is a simplified version of C, let's say custom version of C that was made by Tone. And once we make a smart contract, we program it in FunC, and then we compile it for FIFT. And with the help of FIFT, we are actually writing tests, and that's also one of the questions to discuss, because there are some clients that are actually as far as I understood, are wrapped, like TypeScript wrapped around the fifth, so we can write tests even in TypeScript. But anyways, fifth is used for compiling FunC. So fifth is compiling FunC for itself, and then fifth is actually deploying the compiled smart contract to the blockchain, and is used for communicating with that smart contract. So this is why we have two binaries, one of them for fifth, one of them for FunC, and the light client is basically to communicate with blockchain itself, while fifth would be to communicate with the smart contract on blockchain. I might be wrong. If you know that I'm wrong in something, please write down the comment, and I will definitely like it. Right. So let me download the proper binaries. I have Intel processors, so I download fifth. I download FunC, download light client, and I place them into the folder that I prepared for them. And according to this tutorial, I would have to make them executable. So let me do that for fifth, for FunC, and for the light client. How do I test them? So I have command for fifth, for example, to check the version. And it says to me that cannot, because developer cannot be verified. So what do we do for that on Mac? We go to security and privacy. Here I click cancel, I say allow anyway. Then I head back and do the same for the FunC. Click cancel, allow anyway. And I do the same for the light client, I guess. Yeah. Light client is already executable, but anyways, you know what to do if it's not executable. So I've installed it, and at this point, I'm pretty much ready for the development. We are going to install one more library called TonCLI, but we will do that when we actually go to the first tutorial, which we are going to try to implement now together. And there we will see what are the links to install the TonCLI. So that's a requirement, TonCLI. We are doing pip install TonCLI. Great. Let's run TonCLI. So, yeah, open. It might be configured because I already had it configured, but anyways, when you will first run TonCLI, it will start asking you where is the binary for fifth, for example, and you should just pass the very direct path, absolute path to this to fifth file. So for me, the path would be users, Mark Hoffman, and then ton, and then fifth. So when you will first run it, this is what it's going to ask you, and you should pass it. So once you are all set, we can proceed with the next step of tutorial. So we do TonCLI start wallet. This is a TonCLI, let's say, oh, this is one folder. I didn't want to do it here. Instead, I would like to do it in my folder that I created especially for that. And yeah, I'm going to do the same. And here I will see what is the code. So basically, we have 4 folders. FunC, here's the original code. We have some kind of a boilerplate here, but we're going to remove it. And then once we compile it into Fifth, here we're going to write some. Yeah, I'm not the person to explain what is exactly is here, but anyways, let's get back to tutorial. We're making tutorial. It's not me teaching. So basically, the smart contract that we're going to do is the one that's stored in data as an integer, a total. It's going to be 64-bit unsigned number. This is some very new terminology for me. I have a bachelor in computer science, but somehow I didn't understand what is the exact way of using those bit way of measuring the integers, and that was quite a hassle, and I hope that some pro can actually outline us. Let's actually write it down. Bit sizes of data store. Let's just put it that way. So someone would explain us how what we should think of when we using this for variables. Then when we receive internal message, the contract must be take an unsigned integer from the message body, add it to the total, and store it into contract data. Then the smart contract must provide a getTotal method that allows us to return the value of total. And if the body of the incoming message is less than 32 bits, then the contract must throw an exception. So this we already did. Here we have these 4 folders, and I'm not going to read through every step. You should read yourself, but I'm doing actionable things. So if we see here in the code, in FunC code, we have receive internal, we have receive external, and here are the get methods. So we're going to remove all the get methods for now. We're going to remove receive external as well. I will briefly explain how I understand the difference between receive internal and receive external. So receive internal, this is something that is a message from other Ton entity. So when other wallet or node or someone is talking to our smart contract, then we should handle receive internal. Like for example, the simple transaction, like when I'm sending from one wallet to the smart contract, this would be receive internal because both are the entities of Ton. And receive external, as far as I understood, that would be when we want to affect the smart contract from our CLI, for example. If we want to do something with the contract, call some method or something, send a message. No, actually, not call a method. If we want to send a message into the smart contract from our CLI, for example, that would be a receive external. And we're going to work in this tutorial with receive internal. And here you can see 4 different types. I'm outlining that because that was something very new for me, and I realized that it's very important for more. So we have a cell, slice, builder, and integer. So cell is basically a place in the ton virtual machine where some data is stored. It can be a 1023 bits of data, or not or, but and up to 4 references like links to other cells. And slice is a partial representation of cell. It's basically used for reading data from cell. And builder is a partially built cell containing this data that we're going to store in the cell. So basically builder is used when we want to create a cell. Slice is used when we want to read a cell, and cell is like the cell itself. So, and integer, this is just a data type for number, 257-bit integer. So first thing that we want to write here is like in receive internal, slice in message body. So basically we receive the message. Slice means that it is a representation of TVM cell. So as far as I understand, something happens with a smart contract, and Tone virtual machine already provided a cell to store this in message body, and the slice is kind of a representation to this cell. So that's why when we want to read this message, we do in message body load uint. Again, uint, and here we provide the amount of bits. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand in a way, like we would have to provide the amount of bits in order to tell Tone virtual machine what is going to be this number. So so we would not use extra space, like that would be unused. And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to read the in message body, which according to the tutorial is going to be a number, 32-bit integer. So we have to do it this way. Yep. Persistent smart contract data. This is something that we're going to store inside of the smart contract. So total, according to the task of the tutorial, is that we would need to store a total, and every message is going to send a number, and this is going to be added up to this total. So it's very important to understand what is the register C4. I first didn't go to the white paper to actually, I have it open somewhere here. Yeah, first I didn't go and to figure out what kind of registers do we even have. And then I realized that it's a good idea to actually go and find it. So C4, you're going to see that a lot. It contains the root of persistence data. And then C7, for example, there's quite a few. So far I only used C4 and C5. I guess I was using C5 in a way that when we're sending something outside of the smart contract, we would use methods and that work with C5. But anyways, that's a good place to read about them, and you're going to see this register reference quite a few times. And get data, it's actually a function that is getting a cell from C4 register. So what we're going to do is we're going to define a slice. We call it DS. Get data is going to get data out of the C4 register and parse it. And once we parse it, we define an int, which is total, and we load this int from this parsed data in C4 register. So this is very new for me as well. So I was programming mostly just you define a variable, you get it from state or from database from somewhere, and like this is very new for me, and I learn it together with you. So stay with me. We have to sum up. We have to add total plus n. That's quite similar in JavaScript, which I'm the most familiar with. And we have to save the value. So set data writes the cell to register C4. So this is another function of C4 register that we should definitely know. We set data, begin cell, store uint, total 64, and cell. So basically you can see here, end cell actually creates the cell, and basically we pass the cell which is created by end cell into the set data. So we save it to the C4 register, which you can know already in the white paper, that is used for storing persistent data. Throwing exceptions. I didn't go into any details of throwing exceptions, so I cannot tell you much about that. Maybe some of the pros can actually tell us about exceptions, best practices, and how it's affected in the whole life cycle of the smart contract. So why would a new developer who just starts programming for Ton, why would he actually should pay attention to that? So I'm putting this code here. It should be in the beginning. Basically what this code does, it is checking if the in-message body is actually 32 bits slice, because here we're expecting it to be 32 bits. And I'm going to write it down here as well. Exceptions, best practices. And next step that we need to do, so according to the task that we have, we've done it. So we check that the amount of bits is proper, 32 bits. We check that we read the in-message body, we create a slice, we define an integer with that slice, we load from that slice. You remember the slice is used to actually represent a cell. So we load this. Actually, now we have 64 unsigned integer. And I honestly don't get it why here we have 32, here we have 64. Oh, I don't know. Someone has to explain that. And here we add up the message. So the number we got in message, we add up it to total, and then we save the total. Next thing, we have to write get total function method. Actually, I don't know if I can call it function or method. So what does get total? Basically quite logical, like we had before. It reads the total and it returns the total. So just like we had here, it's just one-to-one code, and we just return the total, and this is the complete code. So what do we do next? We need to deploy a smart contract to the testnet. But before I do that, I wanted to explain you that we're not going to deploy to the main Ton blockchain, because we want to test. We want to test with the fake Tons, or not fake, but the testnet Tons. So we wouldn't spend actual money on that. How do we get those Tons? I'm not going to get into the why we would need to spend some Tons to actually deploy smart contracts, because this is a concept of gas, and you should definitely Google a little bit about the gas, because this smart contract, deploying smart contract, it's like transaction. So basically we're going to consume some of the system power, and we have to pay for that. And let me just tell you that you would need to go to this test giver Ton bot in Telegram. Let me show you what it looks like. Test giver Ton bot. And here I see that I have a button get 2 Ton in testnet. So it is asking me to make 90K485. Hope I'm not a robot. I am robot, I guess. 9C75. Is it 8? No, it's 6 probably. 0. Oh, come on. BC4055C. Great. So, but how do we know the wallet address? For that, we need to actually run this command, because we don't know from which wallet is going to be deployed. And here it says found existing deployed wallet. And yeah, here we see that I already have some of the tons on this wallet, but you would need to find something like deploy wallet, and then you would see your wallet here. You would copy it, and you would provide it to the ton giver. And ton giver is going to send 2 test tones on this address inside of the test network, inside of which we are going to actually deploy this contract. So we see that contract is deployed successfully. That's great. Now we are heading to test the contract. So we have to call the receiving terminal, and we need to send a message within the ton network. But first we would need to compose this message. So the actual message will be composed inside of this try FIF file. So let's go to fifth folder, and let's create a new file called try. Let's call it message, so it will be more understandable. We will copy this code. I think this is one of the most mysterious parts for me, like this idea of message. And let me write it down here. I would say internal versus external messages. Some real life use cases. We're going to ask this from some pro. And second, I want to understand the I would say fifth message structure. Oh my god. So why I don't understand why it would be like, I guess we're sending let's see what tutorial says. This is create builder cells, more details there. Okay, 32-bit unsigned integer 10, like U means unsigned, 32 means 30-bit, 10 means integer 10. But this is like when I read this in tutorials, that's what makes me hard to learn something. Is like, what are other cases? Like, why would I want unsigned integer? Why would I want to have it only 32-bit? Okay, 32-bit because the actual task of this tutorial was to accept only 32-bit. But if someone could just explain us on examples and head us to some resources, this would be super great. If you know someone like that, please send him this link, and it would be very great to have ask me anything with him and talk about this. So it would be useful for everyone. So this is structure of the message, which I would really love to hear from someone, like some other use cases. So someone would explain me, what if I want a bigger message, or I don't know. So now we have to run this ton-CLI send testnet. We, I guess, put the amount of gas we're ready to spend, address of your contract, and body. Okay, let's do it. You sure you want? Oh, wait. First, I'm gonna save the message. Then I'm gonna save this code. Then I'm going to prepare the comment here. What is the address of my contract? It's here. I'm going to put it here. Yeah, I just got it. Okay, let me first prepare it. And then here we will go like message. And I'm going to run this comment in a second, but it's a good question, I think. This is a smart contract, and I guess the smart contract has some kind of a balance. There can be a balance of money on the smart contract. So if I'm sending a message, I can send a number like 11, yeah? But what if I want to send some money on it? Now we're just sending a number, and this number is going to add up to total, because that's how it works. What if I want to send some money just to be on the balance? I don't want to do anything with this money, but I want, like, how would this message look? So basically, this would be a good idea to play around in real time with a smart guy who knows how it works. Okay, so I'm copying this comment, and I'm sending this message now to my smart contract that I just deployed. Okay. Sending query. Okay, we sent the query, and now we would have to run FunC get total. Here I'm not understanding one simple thing is how, if I'm running this, okay, I'm running this inside of the project folder, but when I was sending a message, I was specifying the address of contract, and when I'm just getting total, I'm not specifying the address. Let's put it why we don't specify the address of smart contract when we run a getter method. Interesting. So let's see what it says. Get total. Output. Let's see what we're supposed to have. Here it says it's 10. Oh, what happened? Let's see. It was an 11. I don't know. Let's run another 11. So let's have 64. Let's just run the message again. And now get total. And still the output. Well, that's something interesting, because when I was doing it the first time myself, I didn't check if it actually adds up on top of that. And now I see that it does not. Okay, I want to be sure that I saved it before deploying. And let me do this again. So I deployed it again. Oh, I like how this FunC works. It's great. All right, deployed successfully. And now I will know the smart contract address. And now when I run the send message, I'm going to, let's first run get total. It's supposed to show a 0. I hope so. Yeah, exactly. So I probably just didn't save the file when I was deploying. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to put the address again. All right. And as you remember, we were sending 11. Get total. Brilliant, it's 11. Let's send the message again. It's going to be 22. Let us check the code. Is it actually a total plus? Yes, it's adding up. Maybe I was trying to get balance too fast. Yeah, I was trying to get balance too fast. So because we actually were interacting with a smart contract, we were writing to smart contract that it goes to blockchain, and only then we could get total, and I was doing this too fast. So, all right, so we went through the whole tutorial so far. We're good. Next video is going to it will be either like talking with some pro guy who knows how it works about the questions that we raised in this video, and I would say the last question I would outline here will be where to head next. So let's ask this pro guy who will be able to get on the call from this point, when we know what we just saw in the video, where do we head next? Because here in this GitHub repository with lessons, FunC tests for the first smart contract. So and when I'm heading there, and here immediately we have like, this describes old version of tests, but this is good for concept. Like, I'm a very practical person. I want to write a smart contract. So why would I need tests? And if like, why would I need to learn old version of tests immediately when I'm just starting? So I don't know. And that's why I would really ask some smart guy, like, where do I head next after I know that? So, and let me give you a few links that you might want to read before you proceed. So this is society.org. They have a nice set of posts. I was recommended, and I recommend you to read these articles. Just at least look through them. You'll find useful links. You might understand some useful concepts, but that's a go-to place to actually to see, again, like to see some developer chat, coding questions and answers, technical updates. So guys, you should definitely visit this page. Then I would recommend you to join Telegram group for Tone devs, because if you have, like, when I publish this video or any other videos, I'm going to send it into the group, and I really recommend you to join this group to stay in the loop. You can ask questions there. Amazing guys are in this group, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't ever join this group. So, and another thing is, I really encourage you to ask your questions on Stack Overflow, because that's the way to share the knowledge, because I learned so much just from questions on Stack Overflow, even sometimes answering them. So please ask your questions in Telegram groups. If you got answered, maybe just ask them again here and put your answer that you got there. So that's a very good practice. So guys, I enjoyed to do this with you together here. Please, as I said before, if you think it's a good format, useful for you, please smash that like button. It's my first YouTube video tutorial like that, and I need to know if someone needs that, because like, if no one wants to watch it, like, why would I record another one? And I'm looking forward to record the next one, and I hope we'll get a bunch of answers from some pro guy. I will do my best to get someone on the call. So stay in the loop, join this group. I'm going to put all of this text that you see on the sidebar into the description of this video, and see you soon. Ciao, ciao.